Peter Jennings from Strategic Analysis. He joins me now. At the heart of your piece is something most disturbing, unless I've read it wrong. The relationship between Australia, I mean Canberra, and Jakarta, Peter, doesn't appear to be as strong as it has historically been.
Well, the relationship has gone up and down over the decades, usually with some low points, spying allegations when those Australians were executed for drug trafficking. There have been some pretty low points, certainly around the time of East Timor's independence as well. You know, we've long called to get closer and to develop more of a strategic relationship with Indonesia, but it's just not happening. And the truth of the matter is, Steve, I think that, you know, Prabowo Subianto, the new president, he doesn't see Australia as a high priority. Just after he was elected, before he was sworn in, but just after he was elected, he made one of his first visits to Moscow to meet his great friend, as he called him, Vladimir Putin, and said that he wants to have a closer relationship with Russia. So Indonesia is following its own foreign policy. It doesn't see Australia as a high priority. And I think our Prime Minister is frankly overconfident or underinformed, or both, if he says that we've got a good relationship with Jakarta. That's just not correct.
It's been a few days since this story was revealed by that military journal. As you've distilled it, do you believe it to be a fact that Russia wanted to do this, and why would they want a military presence in a part of Indonesia?
Well, the Russians have confirmed, in fact, that yes, they're interested in basing aircraft in Indonesia. And I think the reasons they want to do that are, firstly, Vladimir Putin sees Russia as a country with global strategic interests. They're very active in Africa these days. They've been active in the Middle East. They had a very close relationship once with Vietnam. They're the major supplier of weapons, particularly to the Indonesian Air Force. And they see Indonesia as a source of commodities and a place that wants to buy Russian oil. So all of these factors are coming together. The dismissal of this idea of a base really came from the Indonesian Foreign Ministry saying, well, look, there won't be a Russian base. But it actually said we're happy to have the forces of other countries flying, as long as they're doing so peacefully, out of Indonesian bases. So it's not really a complete denial. And what we certainly have from President Prabowo is an indication that he wants to do more with Russia and is moving quickly in that direction.
Peter, I mean, the Americans wouldn't be happy about this. I mean, you know, I looked on the map, it's not hard to work out. Those long-range bombers would be able to get to Guam, presumably, and they could certainly get to Australia.
Yes, so both north and south, there are strategic targets that the Russians might be interested in. And I think it's also worth mentioning, Steve, that another reason the Russians might be doing this is, of course, the very close relationship that's developed between Moscow and Beijing. You know, Vladimir Putin is the international leader that China's premier, Xi Jinping, has seen the most. He's met Putin over 40 times. China would never be able to persuade Indonesia to let Chinese military aircraft operate out of a base there, because there's some pretty complicated history between China and Indonesia, but maybe Russia could. And so I think in one sense what we're seeing here is Putin, in a sense, offering Xi Jinping a favour. This complicates our life strategically. It certainly complicates the American military position in the Pacific because of Guam. And so there's a bunch of reasons why, you know, China would be quite happy to see Russia establish a stronger military relationship with Indonesia as well.